it's interesting is that you learned from a technician, which is amazing because it sounds like I feel like the developer community overall is just always open to sharing, teaching each other, learning, progress, which kind of leads me to my next question, which was I learned that it was school that kind of introduced you to entrepreneurship. Your school actually had an incubator, which not a lot of institutions have. But I'm curious if it wasn't for the school offering that incubator, would you have gone into entrepreneurship and start actually testing the products you were making or the software you were making?
It's a difficult question to answer. Like so many years now into that have passed, but I can tell you something. After I founded my first company, I remember talking to my mom, and she pulled out of this drawer of memories, like a little notebook that I wrote when I was 5 years old or something like that, and and she was like reading all of the things that I wrote. It's like I wanted to be a computer scientist or programming, and I wanted to be my own boss. And I remember reading, putting something like I want to be have a company like Bill Gates or something like that. Well, I already had
Yeah.
in my mind, 5 years old, that I wanted to have my company. Uh, Opportunities when I was 5 years old, which of course I wasn't putting my company at 5 years old, but my parents thinking about, hey, you're gonna have your own company and build your own ideas and become make them profitable out of your passion because there's more people that are actually share that. That was not impossible, but those were crazy thoughts, especially in Mexico, Latin
Yeah.
America, having those ideas like, no, you have to go and work for the big boss. And I even remember not long ago, like when I was studying my master's, I had like a foster father that he's been my mentor and now a really good friend, foster father. And he's a really like a role model in Scotland. And he was telling me
Yeah.
when I was starting to work there, his words is always like, keep your head low, do what you're told, do your work, and go along. I was like, okay, that's
Yeah.
what he taught me because he that is the
Yeah.
school that he has. But it's like, I want to ask a question. Why are we doing this? Hey, we have this task. What are we doing?
Sure.
What is the and this mindset is just inside of me. So to your question, would I have founded my first company or a company without having the opportunity of incubating? I think yes, it will probably have taken me more time. What I can tell you probably is
Yeah.
I would have failed for sure, like a lot of entrepreneurs,
Mm.
and I would probably be more afraid of taking a second risk of funding.
Wow.
I'll be afraid of even suggesting. But now we have so many tools, so many opportunities, so many knowledge around us that it's like you're gonna fail. Try another thing, pivot, something
Yeah.
else, adapt, etc., etc. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. One thing that popped into my head was this idea of the incubator and having the resources is just so crucial to the success of a lot of founders. But one thing that you just mentioned was having the mindset and having the kind of from your parents, from people around you that kind of piqued that curiosity, molded that. If you don't grow up with that, how would you recommend, in your experience, say a founder kind of molds that mindset for themselves? What have you seen founders who maybe don't come from that, but they kind of have that ability inside, they have that motivation, that urge, but they need to warp that mindset. What would you advise them?
Taking well, first you have to be very honest with yourself. It's like creating the mindset or asking yourself why you want to become an entrepreneur. And that's something that I've learned across the years is like, do you want to create an anti-culture, anti-pattern of just doing being your own boss, or you want to make a change? And because again, the journey is going to be very difficult. It's not going to be an easy. And what
Yeah,
I say is like if everyone becomes an entrepreneur, there's not going to be partners or founding members, employees that are going to help make these foundations and successful stories. So if you don't have someone without the entrepreneurship mindset to come and work for you, it's gonna be very difficult that you are a one person band trying to solve and do finance, billing, engineering, product management,
yeah,
people, human resources, etc. It's difficult. You need to bring and connect these talents in order to create that. But now you've covered. Yes, I'm ready for the challenge and the journey, and I'm able to connect. And I understand that it's going to be difficult, but I want to do it. And I don't have the mindset. How do I create this mindset? It's just by again knowing that it's going to be difficult, knowing that you're going to fail, and knowing that you're going to do it because the dream that you have, and not so much because you want to create a status quo for the society that you're working. I live in Guadalajara, which is the startup Silicon Valley of Mexico. I've been in San Francisco, Austin, and Hong Kong. And it's always about everyone is now becoming an entrepreneur, and then you're just feeling behind and you just want to be that entrepreneur because everyone's doing that. No. Try to solve your own issue, try to solve your own problem, your dream, and try to
Yeah.
don't go for I want to be huge because everyone's huge. Otherwise, you're going to be frustrated. If you start with that,
Yeah.
the mindset will mold itself. And because you're surrounded by all these great people, you're going to learn how your mind reacts about different scenarios and situations. But yeah, those are my 2 cents.
You mentioned incubators. I'll start my question again. You mentioned incubators a second ago and discuss what additional or just resources that entrepreneurs, founders have now that you didn't even have access to outside of your school. Like as you mentioned, if you had that incubator, if you didn't have that incubator, things would have gone maybe differently. What are the things that founders have now, and how is it different?
You have more contacts now. You have more people who have tried,
Mm,
you have done it, and you have more access to resources. Not only economical resources, which nowadays you have more because you have a lot more of venture capital, friends and family, or type of investment that you have. In the past, here in Mexico, in Guadalajara, raising $2,000, it was very difficult. It was like, oh, okay. And
yeah.
then you were reading about startups in San Francisco raising 100,000 to a million on seed capital. I was like, how am I gonna even compete? Now you can raise that money here. Now you can raise even that more money.
Yeah.
Investors are becoming a lot smarter about what they invest because of everything that we've lived, right? So you have to become profitable, not just about growth. You have to have a solution and solvency, etc., etc. But that's about the economical resources that has shifted through time and through the societies. A lot more
Sure.
investors are investing in Latin America and developing countries, etc., because you see that talent. But the other thing that you have is a lot more opportunities. You have a lot more tools like GitHub, Atlassian, Twilio. A
Yeah.
lot of these companies is like, oh, we have a startup
Yeah.
program, and we're gonna give you five
Yeah.
hundred thousand dollars in credits, and then you can use it. Amazon, it's very easy. Just write them an email and explain and how you're gonna use it. Google the same thing. Microsoft, Oracle, IBM. Now they're giving away a lot of resources that again in the past building on the cloud. We're talking about wow 10 years ago, a little bit over 10 years ago. Building in the cloud, it wasn't that easy. Now you have all these tech tools, you have AI. I was just talking with a friend, his sister is publishing a book, and she's doing that, and she's using ChatGPT to create a whole marketing campaign about how she's going to advertise
Yeah.
through that, and it's working out for her. And it cost her $20, which was the subscription to ChatGPT 4.
Yeah. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, me and my co-founder talk about it all the time. Just the amount of low code to no code tools that you have access to as a founder. And the rule of thumb is only innovate in the one thing that you're good at or your product solves your problem. Don't innovate in anything else. And a lot of founders, they'll try to use these different tools, but nowadays it's so easy to create a product management Trello board on different applications, create integrations with Zapier and Airtable and with mini extensions. There's so many things in addition to what you have available to you. The Grupo podcast is about technology and working in a remote world. If you like what we're doing, please like, comment, subscribe, and support us interviewing the leaders of today.